Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the shop. Well, I'm currently working on a project right here, and that I often have this problem when building gates. As a matter of fact, every time I build a gate or any kind of square frame or anything that is welded together, you always have this problem. And what I've done in the past, you may have seen me, especially on gates, I think I've showed this, is I'll set up, what happens is when you weld anything and introduce any kind of heat to any kind of frame, it draws it in and you get a warping effect every single time. And the way I've always fixed that is old school way. I've set up a block of wood on my welding table here, and I've taken a sledgehammer and I slam against this thing 2 or 3 times, and that pushes it out. Now that's a barbaric way to do it, but that's the way I've been doing it for years, and I've always wanted to come up with a way that would be easier and better for me to do that, and I think I finally found the solution. This right here is a hydraulic jack that I found on Amazon, and this is not a paid endorsement. I paid for this with my own money. After years of searching for something like this, this is the ideal tool for this particular project. So what happens is this gate, I built this gate, and both sides have drawn in due to the heat that has been introduced, especially around the lock box and on this side right here. So the way that instead of taking a sledgehammer and pounding against this thing on both sides to straighten it out, well, I've got this hydraulic jack right here, and I've got a couple pieces of wood in here, and I've got a couple blocks right up against my welding table right here to stop the pressure going that way. I just crank this hydraulic jack, it pushes this leg out, and as much as you want to push it out and release it until this gets perfectly straight, it works absolutely perfect. And I'm really excited about this. And it worked for both sides. I'm sure it can work for the distance or anything that gets warped for welding. But I do have one more problem that I'm facing right here. And I thought maybe I would take you guys through this, show you what my problem is. We're gonna build a jig, and hopefully this jig I'll be able to use in the future for other projects, but I wanna use it to fix this. So what's happened, not only is it bowed in this way, and I've fixed both sides of this now, but it's also crowned up where this lock box is here. So what I need to do is I need to push this down and flatten this back down. And there's no really way to do it with this tool because I need 2 solid surfaces to push against. And I have this surface here, but I have no way of standing it up and pushing it against anything solid. So what I want to do is I want to make a jig that I can bolt to my welding table. My welding table has half 13 threaded holes every 2 inches on center here. So I'll be able to utilize this, get a bracket, bolt it down, make some sort of a jig over the top that I could take this piece here and horizontally put it up, applying pressure downward and a pressure up against this jig, and hopefully that's going to be able to push this down and get it flattened out. I'm hoping that's going to work, so let's get started. Let's see what we can do to fix this. Today's video is sponsored by King Metals. They've got all your fabrication needs in one location. From hinges to hardware, balusters to metal decor, brass to aluminum, and a whole lot more. You name it, they've got it. Check them out today at kingmetals.com. Now let's get back to today's video. Okay. So what I've got right here is I already made some cuts right here, and I did that off camera, but basically what we have is 1.5 inch square tube. This is a 250 wall, 1/4 inch wall thickness. So this is just something that I have in my scrap pile over here. I'm trying to do this quickly so I can get this project done, but I'm really thinking this is going to work. I've got some 1/4 inch plate right here. I've drilled a couple holes in it that line up with a pattern on my welding table. The idea is to weld this to this. I've got this 45 here that I'm going to come over the top with right here. And then I've got this gusset that's going to go in the middle right here and act as some strength. And I'm using this outer edge here for the leverage point pushing down. Hopefully that's going to work. So let's get this thing welded together and we'll give it a try. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do right here, I've got these things cut. I've got my table dogs right here. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in. I'm going to get this side square, and I'm going to go ahead and stick a couple on this side here. Get this side square. I'm going to square this up. Now, you recently seen a video of me making a bracket and talked about opening this up a little bit, because when you weld it draws it closed. But here, from this case right here, we've got this gusset, and I'm going to go ahead and put this into position right here. So I'm square here, square here. I'm going to crank everything down, clamp it all down. All right, so I've got this propped up evenly across the board here. This is a 1-inch piece with a 1/4 inch underneath it here, and then it's in the center of this 4-inch plate right here. And on the center this way, I'm squared to the back, I'm squared to the side. So I think we're good to go. This needs to be in this direction. No problem. I'm gonna cut that off, readjust it, and bring it back. All right. There's our part. Let's give it a try. All right, so here's my setup here. I've got it bolted to my welding table. I've got this as a point to press against. I've got the gate blocked up on some 2x4s, allowing some pressure to go down. And I'm needing to apply that pressure right here in the center of this box. This is, after putting this box in, this is how the gate frame right here got bowed up in the center. Just a lot of heat going on right here. So we need to get this pushed back down. Now, it's not much. It's only about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16. But it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's enough to, when the gate is hung in the frame, it's not going to be in the frame square, and you're going to notice it. It might even be a problem with the gate latching. So we want to get this thing as flat as we possibly can. I don't need to take much out, like I said, maybe just 1/8 of an inch. So here's my setup. I've got a flat piece of block right here on top. I've got my jack right here. And this is the, of course, this is what I got set up. You know, that's the beauty of this kit right here that I got. It has all these different attachments, and this attachment right here is going to work well for what we're using for right here. I'm also going to put a block in here. All right, you know, something about like that. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start adding a little bit of pressure here. And you can see, I hope you can see this up here. Maybe you can, I think you can. That I'm gonna get this thing up on here. All right, we're starting to apply pressure right here. I'm starting to push up, which is gonna push this down. Now I'm gonna keep a close eye on this. I don't wanna go too far. Now it is gonna spring, so I need to go beyond that limit and then release it, and hopefully it'll spring back close to being level. So let me go ahead, give it a couple cranks. Well, I don't know if you saw that, but one crank and that thing went down. I think really all I need is one more. That right there is probably beyond the limit. Let me take a closer look here. You know what? I'm gonna give it, all right. That's about as far as I think I want to go. it's flexed. It is currently flexed beyond right there. So I think that's what I'm looking for. Let me get this out. Take another look here. And that is perfectly flat. That is all I needed to do to push this down and get it flat. Wow, I gotta say, I am really pleased the way this thing worked out. I'll put a link in the description for you guys for this. Like I said, it's not a paid endorsement. I paid for this out of my own money, and I saw it on Amazon. This is the perfect scenario for me in the fabrication I do. It makes things so much easier, and man, that worked out. That worked out really good. All right, I'll pull you back and let's get some final thoughts. Okay, what did we learn here? Well, it was a success in one part, but it was a failure in another. The success was it worked. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. I was able to apply pressure downward, and that bow that was in there, actually I pushed it beyond the point. When I released it, it came back flat. So that worked exactly the way I was hoping. The failure is my little bracket right here. Basically, there was so much pressure, at least not that much, but enough to make this want to pivot back like this. And it actually bent it at the base plate right here. 1.25 inch by quarter wall thickness square tube on 1/4 inch flat plate. Bent it at the base right here from the pressure that was applied up underneath here. So to solve this problem, I'm going to go ahead and make something like this, and one continuous bar all the way across my welding table. Another bracket like this, I'll be able to mount it from both points, and then I'll have a lifting point solid, and I won't have that problem coming up. And hopefully that will be something that I'll be using in the future for future gates or future builds that I have this problem I'm trying to straighten out. In terms of the hydraulic press itself, I guess that's what I'm calling is a hydraulic press. I don't know what else to call it. It's both vertical and horizontal, and that's one of the key features that I was looking for. Most of them are vertical. You can't find too many horizontal. This one was both ways, and I really like the adaptability to this kit. It has a lot of different features to it. You can extend it as extension tubes and lots of different heads and pieces on it to adapt to whatever you're using. Again, not a paid endorsement. I found it on Amazon. It was a great little addition to the shop here for what I'm using it for. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll put a link in the description for that VEV4 hydraulic press. See you guys on the next video.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.